What can we make today? Let's get to work. Just cutting the pieces off the box. Okay, folks, so the simple tools that we'll need for this project are things that most people have lying around. So simply plentiful supply of cardboard. There's a piece that I've cut earlier. Some decent scissors, which we're going to use for cutting and also scoring. A tape measure or a ruler would do. Nice pencil for marking, and that old favourite, some packaging tape, which most people have knocking around. Sellotape possible if not, but this is probably your best bet. Okay, I'll speak to you in a bit. One other thing I meant to mention, which I forgot, was something like this, which is basically just to score the cardboard and to pencil mark it. And what you're looking for is just something that's very straight and quite solid and strong, so it's not going to actually bend. So this is ideal because it's got an L shape in it, so that's going to give it strength. I think this is a straight piece of wood would do. I think this is just a piece of some adjoining different types of flooring. So what we're going to do basically is we're going to measure this length, or the width of this piece, okay, which is approximately 24 centimeters. Divide that by 4, so 6, 12 and 18. We'll mark that up. So basically we've got the 4 sides. We're basically just building a box with this, which will give what is a weak material when it's flat. It'll give it some strength, so we can actually use that to build the base or embankment, etc. Okay, so I'll get on with that and bring you back. Okay, so I've measured 6 centimeters, further 6 makes 12, further 6 is 18, and a further 6 to make the 24 centimeters the width of this piece of scrappy looking card. Now I've done the same at the other end, marked them, and then I've just used that to basically score a nice straight line. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold those in place carefully and then use the scissors. Okay, so have to be careful with these. Obviously they're sharp. It sounds a bit Blue Peter, but for any younger viewers, and maybe ask an adult to give you a lift or get some help. But basically all you're doing is using the sharp edge of the scissors to score, not cut through, but just to score a mark, to provide a weakness so that we can we can fold the card nice and easily. So I'll do that and then get back to you. Okay folks, so there you can see we've scored the card nicely along the 3 different lines, and then it should just fold up nice and easily now along that line. You can see that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold all of those, fold the first one right over, then the next one, then the next one, and that will form our box, and then I'll get back to you. Okay folks, so there we go. You can see that we've made what looks like the beginnings of the box shape that we want. Okay. There's the end of it. Now as you'll see from there, because we've measured them absolutely equally, that doesn't take into account the thickness of the card, which is probably about 5mm. So all we're going to do is quite simple. This, I did it on the other one. I'm not going to measure it out. I'm just going to do it by eye, and I'm going to cut off approximately 5mm of one of the edges just by sight, and that will mean that we should have a square box rather than that one that's slightly opaque, if that's the correct word. But yeah, already we've got something that's significantly stronger. So I'll get on with that and then give you a shout back. Okay guys, so there we go. Looks about 5mm cut off one of the edges, and all that's going to mean is when we close it, it's more of a box shape. Okay, So yeah, with these measurements, there's no need for massive accuracy because you can always just improve it towards the end. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to get small strips of the parcel tape, and just at the ends and probably about every 6 inches along, I'm just going to attach it so that we've got something held in place. Don't try and do it all at once, it will end up as a disaster. But yeah, if you just do it the 6 inches or so across, and then what we'll do is we'll strengthen it further as we need to once we've got that all in place, and we can become hands-free, so to speak. So I'll speak to you in a bit. Okay, so there we go. You can see that we just attach that at various points along the top. Leave a bit of a gap of about 1 inch at this end because what we want to do is just strengthen the ends to maintain that square shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a small piece of cardboard, 6 centimetres, so we'll cut it 6 centimetres by 12 centimetres just so we can fold it over and give it additional strength. Now obviously we'll need to make that smaller because that again doesn't take into account the thickness of the cardboard. However, there's no need to do that beforehand. What we'll do is we'll simply trim it to fit so we can get a nice square going in there. That's going to give it a lot of extra strength. Okay, so I'll get on with that and give you a shout back. Centimetres that I've just folded over to give it some extra strength. And then all that's going to do is it's going to fit. We're going to trim it down so it can fit in there, and it'll just brace those corners so that you don't get this kind of movement. And then after that, we're just going to use the packaging tape to pack that nice and tightly secure. So I'll get on with that and give you a shout back. Okay, there it is, cut to size, and should just brace that, make it nice and strong when I put the tape around it. Okay, and that's nicely sealed in. So you want to put a bit of tension around this, so wrap it around the outside with a bit of tension just to hold that box in place, and then obviously one from there to under there with a bit of tension, and one from around here to around there with a bit of tension. You end up with a nice solid box on the end. For these bits around here in between, once you've done the other end the same, you can just get those nicely stuck together as well. It'll just add an overall strength to the whole thing. Okay folks, so what you're ending up with once you've done all of that is basically 2 long boxes like this, which will form the track bed. You want to do that another 2 times. It won't need to be as long that side because it's going to be for the side sections, and then we'll get on with that and then give you a shout back. Okay folks, so in true Blue Peter style, for those of you old enough to remember it, here's a few I've made earlier. So there we've got a couple with some track, just to give you the general idea. There's another one I've just made as well. Don't need to be too accurate with the measuring on these. It'll all tie itself together in the end. By no means is it aviation standard, but yeah, basically what you want to do is once you've got them all ready together, measure out your curve. So this is a 2nd radius curve, so I've just measured that out on a bit of card, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the box here, just give myself enough room, and then I'm going to make a cut with the scissors through there, and I'm going to repeat the process. This excess bit here, we're going to utilise that as well for the curves in a moment, so that's going to work out just about the right size. So keep that to one side, and I'll bring you back once I've done that, and then repeat the process just to box it in and secure it. So I'll give you a shout in a bit. Okay folks, so what you need now is a nice piece of base cardboard that's going to cover the that 2nd radius turn. I can cut down the end to size, but what you want to do to measure it, just make sure that the rails are all very nicely connected so that they're in line, and so that you've got your turn nice and accurate. Once you've got that, what you're looking to do is the larger piece that we cut off and we measured. We're aiming for that to be going on there, and then the smaller pieces which we've re-braced at the end, so they make a quite solid little structure by the end of it, and we're going to be fitting those like this with some additional bracing in here. Now you've got the option really of making this like a little baseboard, so turning it up on its side if you want it flat, because once that's braced, this section here just for the turn, which we'll do again to duplicate the other side, should be quite strong when it's all braced in here, and it would be like normal bracing for a layout, so you'd have it upside down, so to speak. But if you want to run it where the track is going to be on embankments, then that track is going to be used on the top here, so it's going to go round, and we're going to build additional pieces round here, so we could effectively have an embankment which is just going to present the trains a little bit higher up. But either way is okay, and it should be pretty much equally strength anyway, whichever way you wish to do it. Okay, so I'll carry on with that and I'll give you a shout back. If you've been watching up to now, you probably deserve a cup of tea, because that's what I'm going to get as well. Bye for now. Okay folks, so what you're aiming for here is you've got the box sections secured onto the base that we cut out. You've got the other box section on the back, and they're all cut on. There's not a need for it to be absolutely perfect at this stage, because it's going to get its strength from the bracing that we put on the top. But the main thing is just get enough on just to keep it basically attached. So I've not done it all the way along. We can do that, we can tidy it later. But already it's quite a strong structure. And the idea is we'll be able to either run the track along the top, or likewise, if you turn it that way around, we've made ourselves a basic baseboard. So that's what you're aiming for just up to this stage. I'll give you a shout back. Okay, so we need to duplicate that section on the other side as well for the other radius. So let's do it the easy way. We'll just put this baseboard down, and then just simply mark around the edge to cut it. I'll give you a shout back when I've done that. Okay folks, so after much cutting and sticking, this is what you end up with. So you've got one there. Okay, on these corners it's important to really put a cross sticker piece of tape across there, and really scrunch it in tightly, hold it on and then tighten it, because that's where you get a lot of strength from in the corners. A few across here, and then just the cosmetic ones on the end, for, if you can call it that, with pieces of cardboard. Again, do the corner pieces just to give it that extra strength, and you end up with something reasonably strong. You've got the other side of it, which is just basically stuck on the same, and then all I've done is I've just put a cross piece of boxing in the centre there, just to give it some support in the centre, but the track is only going to go around the outside, and that's it for the one piece. It does end up quite strong really, so I'm quite pleased with that. Lightweight as well, so you can easily store it and keep it away. The other side, this side of it is exactly the same as the other one, but on this side of it, all I've done is I've just drawn around where the track is for the radius 2 turn, the second radius turn, pulling the track carefully on position all the way around, and then I've got another piece of cardboard, and all I've done is I've just cut it to just give a leeway, because obviously that's where the track end should be, so it just gives a bit of a leeway there. Again, the same structure underneath, and all I've done is just secured that, again wrapping around here, wrapping across the corners and scrunch down tight on it to get a really good solid finish, but you end up with something quite solid like that. And there you go. So the idea is that the two of these I can make just for the test layout. They're going to go something like that, with the track secured of sorts on them, and then we've got the box sections we made before. Which you're going to slot on basically like that, so we can just pack it away nice and easily, but we've got quite a strong bed to put the track on. Okay, so I'll carry on and give you a shout back.